Welcome, everybody. Today we are going to be reviewing the quintessential Xbox trilogy of games, and that is, of course, the Halo series, originally developed by Bungie Games. We're going to be talking about the legendary Halo Combat Evolved, aka Halo 1, got Halo 2, and of course the finale to the original Master Chief trilogy, Halo 3. I've recently gotten into the Halo series. I just on a whim kind of got into it, and I was just really sucked into the world and the story of Master Chief and Cortana, and later even the Arbiter and the Covenant and all that. It's just such an awesome space opera. Essentially, that's what it's become. But anyway, yeah, I have been on a just like binging all of the games I played. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. And then before I played Halo 4, I did 3 ODST, Halo Reach, and then I did 4, 5, and then I just got in my copy of Halo 6 Infinite today. Um, so I still actually need to play that. But I'm going to be doing a series where, similar to this one, where I just cover all of the Halo games. So in today's video, we're starting with that original Bungie trilogy. So one thing to note is that I've never been into the Halo franchise. I didn't grow up with it. I don't have any sense of really nostalgia towards it. I know a lot of people absolutely love the first 3 Halo games. People have a love-hate relationship with the Halo franchise these days since 343 has taken over, or rather Bungie left. So, a lot of people's opinions I feel like can be skewed based on nostalgia and whatnot. But this is me coming in to the series, you know, within the last month. Um, and just diving in for the first time. So I'm going to be trying to obviously, all my opinions are subjective to me, but I feel like they're a little bit more objective than um, people who are longtime fans because I don't have that attachment towards it. But definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments about my opinions, about your experiences with these games. But yeah, without further ado, let's hop into Halo Combat Evolved. Now, I do want to preface that I actually did play all of the mainline Halo games, 1 through 4, via the Master Chief collection. I got that, and it's just super easy to pop in and see everything hop in. Halo 3, ODST, and Halo Reach were not in the Master Chief. Well, they're in the Master Chief collection, but they're paid DLC, and I didn't want to buy the game again, so I ended up just using my 360 copies that I do have. But for all of the Master Chief games, I didn't actually play this copy of it. Same with Halo 2 and 3, saving those for a rainy day, so to speak, to actually pop into the 360 and collect separate achievements and play through the games that way. So I did play through the Master Chief collection originally, and that's how I experienced Halo Combat Evolved. And going into this game, I didn't really know what to expect, but my initial thoughts is it really reminded me a lot of playing Star Wars Republic Commando, just the early 2000s shooter feel, um, and kind of areas feeling kind of empty, so to speak, and the soundtrack kind of being very much in the background. It's a certain kind of atmosphere that you really don't get in games these days, where everything, for the most part, has a very polished vibe to it. It has music background music and scenic like soundtracks that are just kind of, I feel like, more integrated, if that makes any sense. But it's just such like a vibe. And one thing that's cool about the Master Chief Collection is that with the press of a button, you can switch between different views, um, to play like the remastered version or like the original, from the original Xbox, the 2001 version. Um, with Halo Combat Evolved in particular, uh, my first time playing through, I wanted to do just like the original base version, but I did like press the button once in a while just to see like what the difference in like the level design and weapons and enemies looked like. But for the vast majority of my playthrough, I did play just like the original version, and yeah, I liked it, for the most part. I will say that Halo One, the gameplay is a little rough, and I'm aware that this is the first game in the series, and it basically was creating the genre, as it was coming out, helping develop it into like what we know as the modern like shooter genre. Um, so it kind of was laying the groundwork. So not everything is as polished or is going to play as smoothly as you know modern shooter games, which are what I'm used to. And so going in, there are a lot of things that are different, um, or kind of tricky or unpolished, in my opinion. One thing that really stands out to me about Halo, and this is across all of the games, is that classic Halo button mapping. I really fucking hate. I think it's atrocious. Personally, I know a lot of Halo fans stand by that button mapping, and I've looked into it and I understand the idea of what like the thought process was to like map the controller that way, where one side of the controller, one trigger is meant for your guns, while the second trigger is meant for like other forms of combat, whether that be like your grenades or what have you. Because grenades were meant to be like almost like a secondary weapon. You didn't really have like the aim and shoot configuration that you do with modern shooters these days. You press in the stick to zoom, and I really hate it. I think it's terrible. So thankfully, with the Master Chief Collection, you can do like custom button mapping, and I did play through it with like a more familiar configuration. But what you'll see in my next video, where I talk about when I played the two games that weren't on the Master Chief Collection, that does kind of come around to bite me in the ass a little bit. But anyway, that's one of my main gripes about Halo One, is you know, or just Halo in general, is the button mapping. But luckily for my experience playing it, because it was through the Master Chief Collection, I was just able to fix it really quick and create my own button mapping that felt more my style, more modern. Um, so it is what it is. But I will say with Halo One, the one of the other things that I didn't necessarily like, but ended up just being kind of whatever, is that it does feel a little empty, which is, I feel like, kind of common with this era of game. Um, but when you're going through, you have very like repetitive looking areas, and not a lot of like waypoints or like things to let you know like, hey, you're going in the right direction. So a lot of the time when I'm playing, I'll just be cruising through an area, and it just looks like the same stuff over and over again, and it's very hard to tell if I'm going in the right way. I feel like areas that are notorious for this are, like the library section, which personally I think is a little bit easier to tell, just because you have Guilty Spark floating around and you can just kind of follow him to know where to go. But even like the silent cartographer, areas in that where you're actually like going through the cartographer buildings, or later in the game, in like the labs with the flood and all that, it can be very tricky to know where to go, or rather, if you're going in the right direction, because it all just feels very samey, and there's not a lot to tell you if you are. And the one thing about Halo 1 that's very challenging, at least for me, my first time playing it, was the lack of just regeneration. Halo 1 is notorious for the combat being very different from the rest of the games in the series. Um, you don't naturally regenerate. You have to find like health packs on the ground to heal your health, and those are tend to be kind of few and far between. And so you have to really play your cards right in how you navigate through areas. Some of the enemies, especially like the elites, and in particular, the not they're not normal elites. They're the fanatics or whatever they call them, like the crazy ones, the berserkers, basically. Those are the yellow ones. Those are a pain in the dick to handle, and if you're not careful going through an area, and like on top of managing your ammo and stuff like that, it can just be very tricky. Um, and needless to say, I died a lot playing this game. Um, and getting set back to that one point and just trying to figure out one thing. I mean, it's a pain in the dick as you're doing it, but I've come to appreciate it in a sense where every time it sets you back, you're basically trying to figure out, well, how do I get through this area with the cards dealt to me? Whether you've got very little health and some ammo, or if you're fully healed or whatever, it's like, I have to get to point A to point B. There's no way for me to get health at this point. I have to figure out a way. Um, and that, it provides a unique challenge that, like I said, is frustrating in the moment, but I've come to kind of appreciate in a way. Um, but yeah, I mean, in the end, I guess my overall thoughts is that Halo 1 is, I appreciate it looking back because it's laying the groundwork for what the modern FPS shooter is, and it puts your foot in the door, introduces these characters like you've got Master Chief, the man of few words, just doing badass stuff. You got Cortana. I love Cortana. She's awesome, and just like her sarcastic remarks, and just the relationship and dialogue between Chief and Cortana. I love. That's one of my favorite aspects of Halo in general. Just the introduction of all of this stuff is really cool, and everything just feels so alien. You're on this world and you don't know what the hell is going on, and then you release the flood and all that stuff. The flood introduction is you know awesome. You've got these like alien zombie hive mind things, which are crazy. So that's pretty cool. Um, but it can be really challenging. And my biggest gripe with this game that made me very angry on multiple occasions is the final mission. The final mission in particular has made me rage quit this game a lot. Um, it is just difficult up until a certain point. Um, you have to shut down the ship, you have to fight off waves of enemies, it's whatever. That's basically what you've been doing this whole game anyway. It's manageable. But then you get to the end of the game where you have to hop in a warthog and race through the ship as it's exploding. It's a timed mission. Um, and let me tell you, that is the stupidest shit I have ever played in my life. Um, First of all, the Warthog in this game is the stupidest fucking vehicle I've ever driven in a video game. Like, I was talking to Kayla about it, and it's essentially like trying to drive a boat in Minecraft on ice, except like you have fucking Parkinson's or something. Like, it's retarded. I hate having to do that, and the route that you're taking for driving, there's like these obstacles that are in the way, and they make it so fucking difficult to maneuver the warthog through. You've got enemies shooting at you the entire time. It's timed. It's just a huge pain in the dick. Okay. Um, and then you get to a certain point. There's like a moment of uh, pause, I guess, and then you continue, and it tells you to make this jump. And half the time, the warthog will like flip over, or you don't have enough momentum, and this is like towards the end of the section. And if you don't make that jump, you die. If you die at any point, you get reset all the way back to the beginning of the fucking run. And let me tell you, I've died so many times doing that. There was one time in particular where I literally got to the very end, right? Where, like, there's like the barrels or whatever in the way that are blocking the warthog. You're meant to get out. And literally all you do from there, you run up, hop on the ship, mission's over. You beat the game, right? I made it to that point, got to the fucking barrels, hopped out of the warthog. My character got stuck between the warthog and the barrels. And an elite or a grunt or whatever threw a fucking plasma grenade and blew me up and died, right? And I got sent all the way fucking back to the beginning of the run. Like, what the shit were they smoking when they made this level? Like, why are there no checkpoints whatsoever through here? Like, you would think that maybe there'd be a checkpoint in the middle of the run whenever you're waiting for Faux Hammer to show up, right? And then she gets blown up or whatever. There, like that little moment of pause where you're just waiting. There might be a checkpoint there, right, before you start the second half of the run. No, like literally, you go all the way back to the very fucking beginning, it makes me want to put a 9mm in my mouth, like every time I play it. So, needless to say, I originally, when playing through the game, I didn't technically beat Halo 1. I left it at that point, and I didn't touch Halo again for a few weeks. I was playing other stuff just because I was that mad, and I didn't want to continue with the series having not technically beat the first game. But then eventually I came to, and I like played Halo 2, still having not beaten Halo Combat Evolved. It wasn't until I think I was halfway through Halo 4 that I actually went back and like literally it was crazy. Locked in. I was locked the fuck in, right? Expertly doing it. First try, beat the mission. Because times before that, throughout my playthrough, I had gone back and was, you know what? Before my gaming session today, let me see if I can beat Halo 1. And never could. But that one day, I locked in. My first try, I beat the final mission. And so, yes, I beat Halo 1 eventually. But that one mission, like, I swear I almost popped a blood vessel just, like, from pure anger. Like, I almost had an aneurysm with how frustrating that final mission in particular was. But that final mission was enough to like bring down my score on this game. And like I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this game because I understand why it's good and like the elements of it that it sets up for later installments, and just it being the first game in the Halo franchise. But at the same time, playing it made me so mad and angry at certain points. Uh, One of the biggest things for me for Halo 1, though, that I did really like is the music. Uh, in the first game, when the Halo theme starts playing, and when you're like going through like certain areas, like on the Silent Cartographer, for example, just clearing people out, it's almost like a fucking like war chant. You know what I mean? Like it is very epic, and I love that mission. Towards the end of the game, it's a difficult mission, or at least it was for me because I died quite a bit. But when there's like the war section happening. I think it's like the elites are fighting the flood and the snow, and then you have to like go across and do the banshee and like flying through like the glacier ravines or ice ravines or whatever. That shit's dope. That was an awesome mission. But overall, I think Halo 1, for me personally, I'm going to give it a 6 grunts out of 10. 6 Halo grunts out of 10. Um, Not my favorite in the series by far. In fact, it's probably my least favorite in the series just because of just how difficult it was for me to play and how angry it made me at some points. But I think that in throughout the series it improves, and it just, I'm not trying to be super harsh on it, but it lays the groundwork, and that's why I'm comfortable putting it at the bottom. Is because literally every entry ahead of it, I feel like improves at least in some way over the first game. So it is at the bottom of the list for like the Halo games that I've played so far, bar Halo Infinite, which I haven't gotten to yet. But that being said, it has me very um, positively excited for Campaign Evolved, which comes out at the end of the month, and I will be covering at some point. I'm hoping that more modern take will freshen it up. Hopefully, I don't know if they've said there's like regeneration. Maybe they change the flow of the gameplay a little bit. Hopefully, that final mission, if they don't put any fucking uh, checkpoints in that final mission, I might blow up 343 Studio. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, call me Ted Kaczynski. Nah, I'm just kidding. FBI, that's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke. But no, for real though, I am very excited for Campaign Evolved to see how much they did improve. I'm very positive on it. I think it looks awesome, so I can't wait to get my hands on that. But talking about the original, yeah, not my favorite, but like I said, it lays the ground. Now, moving on, a complete 180. Let's talk about Halo fucking 2, bro. This right here is a masterpiece of a video game. I fucking love Halo 2, and let me tell you, I don't know if it's just recency bias. It very well might be. But this has made it into my top 10 favorite video games of all time. I fucking adore Halo 2. Um, First of all, the first thing that grabs me is the cover art. It's so epic and like, man, you just got Master Chief kneeling with the twin SMGs, just chilling, right? And the reason why, firstly, I'm so positive on Halo 2 is because, in comparison to Halo 1, it improves like every gripe that I had with the first game and just makes it so much better. So I will say I did play the anniversary edition. Um, I was originally gonna play just like original Halo 2, but then I switched the graphics over like how you can on the Master Chief Collection, and those cutscenes that they have with the anniversary edition blew my mind. Like, they looked almost live action. Like, they were so epic, and like the graphics on those cutscenes were insane. And I was like, yo, I can't not do that. So having played Halo 1 just OG style, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do OG, or I'm gonna do Halo 2, do the anniversary edition. So that's what I did. I didn't play true OG Halo 2, which I will eventually. Um, but I still played Halo 2. Just throwing that out there. At some point I might, or at some point I will do like true OG Halo 2. But anyway, it improves compared to Halo Combat Evolved. Literally every gripe that I had with that game is minimal or non-existent in Halo 2. First of all, you have your character heals like in a modern shooter. You're not having to play as conservative, like hiding behind shit and like I mean, there's still some of that, which I do like. It feels very like John Wick tactical, right? Like you're just like hiding behind a wall, peeking, like running, blowing shit up, right? Um, but because you don't have to worry about health packs, it rewards playing more aggressive. You still have to be conscious and like be careful when you're playing, but it definitely rewards a more aggressive play style overall, which I really enjoyed. And it made me feel like I'm really playing Master Chief because I feel like in lore, right, Master Chief isn't going to be like just sitting there, you know, he's going to be running and gunning, kicking down doors, blowing people up and shit. Same with the Arbiter, right? Which I'll get to in a minute. Um, so yeah, it rewards a playstyle that was more to my liking. The introduction of the dual wield was really cool. I like that dynamic. Um, Being able to just like rock two SMGs, just fucking shit up, was really cool. The introduction of um, using the energy swords was awesome. Being able to kick people off their kick elites off their bikes or like not bikes. What are they called? Not wraiths. Shit. Wraiths are the tanks, which you can hop on the tanks too, but the ghosts. Um, Being able to do that is really cool. I mean, overall, just the gameplay just feels a lot more like streamlined. It's Yeah, they definitely worked out a lot of the kinks between Halo One and Halo Two, matched with like the Anniversary Edition's beautiful cutscenes and just the graphics being a little bit upgraded. It just made for a really awesome experience, and I think the story too. Like, I think Bungie, when they made Halo Two, made an incredibly risky play by making half of the game not even Master Chief. You're playing as the Arbiter, you know? Um, and I think from like a business standpoint, from a developer standpoint, that is a very risky thing to do is to like have only half the game or like probably still a majority of the game, but like have large portions not even be like your main character playing. Not only that, but forcing you to play as the villain, which there's been games like that in the past that do something similar, right? Where they have you play as a different character that you don't necessarily care about, you have no reason to care about. Which there is an entry in the Halo series that does that, Halo 5, which I will talk about in a different video. But uh, I think that Bungie just pulled it off masterfully. Um, because the Arbiter's story in of itself is awesome, right? He's this, you know, disgraced uh, elite, right? And you are the reason why he is disgraced, because in the first game, everything you did on that first Halo ring, he was technically like in charge of. So like you fucked up all of his shit on his watch basically, and now he's being punished. And so he gets turned into the Arbiter, and you're basically like the Covenant's like religious shadow warrior. Like you're on this like holy mission, which slowly falls apart throughout the game, and then you realize, oh shit, yeah, the Covenant's been corrupt this entire time, and um, you realize that the other elite guy that you were hunting after in the first section was actually right, and it just reframes how the Arbiter thinks about it all. And then, of course, there's a revolt against the elites, where the brutes kind of take over. I believe that was the end of Halo 2, if not the beginning of Halo 3. But yeah, I'm pretty sure like the Covenant Civil War thing was Halo 2 still. Um, One thing that is interesting, that is really cool, there is a particular mission early in Halo 2 where you're playing as the Arbiter, and it's the mission where you're in the Banshee flying around blowing up the other Banshees. Let me tell you, the music in that is fucking phenomenal. First of all, the soundtrack, but I learned that in the original Halo 2, that part, the music that's playing, is actually Incubus. It's an instrumental like Incubus song that they did. I don't know. I don't think they did it for the game because I believe uh, it's just one of their songs. It's like an instrumental version, but it's actually an Incubus track that they used for Halo 2. Which, upon learning that, I love Incubus, especially those first few albums. So, learning that, I was like, well, that's fucking sick. Um, but yeah, that was one of my favorite missions just because the soundtrack is awesome. But yeah, playing as the Arbiter is really cool, and just how the story comes together is awesome, and the eventual kind of team up between Master Chief and Arbiter is really cool too. In particular, um, at the end of the game, there, especially in the anniversary edition cutscenes that are super cinematic and cool looking. There's a there's a part where Master Chief is like back to back with the Arbiter, and Arbiter has his energy sword, Master Chief has his gun, and it just looks fucking awesome, man. Like, I wish I could have a T-shirt of that. You know what I mean? Um, but that's really why I like Halo 2 so much. Is it just broadens the world with the lore. It brings back the Flood and gives you more insight into their story. It gives you insight, you know, into finally understanding what the Covenant's goals are and the reasons why Halo 1 was a thing, right? You know, because Halo 1 sets the groundwork, and Halo 2 just blows the doors open and, like, tells you why things are the way they are. Um, and just the exploration of and broadening of the Halo universe was just really cool. So, um, Halo 2 is definitely my favorite Halo game that I've played. I really enjoy it. In particular, story wise, I think the ending of Halo 2 is really awesome. You know, there's that classic line from Cortana where they have to split up, and Chief leaves her, I believe, on the Covenant ship, right? Oh shit! I dropped my mic. He leaves her on the Covenant ship, and he says something along the lines of, you know, I'll be back for you. And she says, you know, don't make a girl a promise you can't keep. And like that scene gave me like goosebumps, bro. Like, it's just insane, you know, like, and like the relationship between Cortana and Chief is just masterful. Um, and then of course leading into Halo 3, which I'll talk about momentarily, just like that kind of like Halo 3, the end of the trilogy just has a very Return of the King vibe. Like, you know, this is the final battle, the last stand, finish the fight was like the motto of the game and the marketing, finish the fight. And then just the end of Halo 2, you got Master Chief crash landing or whatever. I forget exactly what happens, but yeah, nah. Halo 2 is a fucking masterpiece. Absolutely love it. Um, and that being said, I'm probably going to give this 8.5 arbiters out of 10. This was just a masterful game. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to go back and replay it someday. What I am excited for is whenever they get around, as long as Campaign Evolved is as good as I hope it is, whenever they go around to remaking this, the Halo 2 remake, yo, bro, I will be pre-ordering my copy, yes sir. Uh, like that's gonna be fucking awesome. So yeah, very excited for whenever they get around to doing that. And next up, finally, we're gonna be talking about Halo 3. Now, Halo 3, I'll be honest, I don't like as much as Halo 2. And I think part of the reason is because Halo 2 was already so good that all Bungie had to do was basically maintain quality. Whereas the jump between Halo 1 being almost too infuriating to play at points and the streamlined gameplay and story, everything being just upgraded in Halo 2 to like a amazing, like insane degree, right? The improvements of Halo 1 to Halo 2 are so vast, and then the improvements from Halo 2 to 3 are minimal. They're basically just at that point maintaining quality. So that's why I don't necessarily like Halo 3 as much as 2, but I still really do enjoy this game. I think the absence of Cortana is notable, but in this game, it like there's a point. I like how the story is basically Chief defying all odds. To try to rescue Cortana from the flood ship. I thought that was really neat in the beginning of the game. Waking up and teaming up with the Arbiter because at this point the elites have joined forces with humanity against the Covenant, um, fighting not only the Covenant but also the Flood. Uh, that part, that whole section was super dope. So, yeah, I do enjoy this game, just definitely not as much as Halo 2. Um, but that feeling when you finally get around to rescuing Cortana and it feels like we're back together again. That kind of feeling is really awesome. Uh, Not to mention the ending of Halo 3. I'm not going to talk too much about Halo 3 because I'll be honest, it's kind of the one that I remember the least. I don't know why that is, but what I do remember is the ending, in it being incredibly similar to the final mission of Halo 1. You have that, like, Warthog Run kind of mission where you're like, stuff is exploding and you're going, but they improved upon it so much. And they have like the tiles or the panels falling off or whatever. It feels very similar to that first or that final mission of the Halo 1, but the Warthog at this point is actually drivable, and not a fucking pile of garbage. And they actually give you ample checkpoints to where it makes sense. And needless to say, that final mission was way less of a pain in the dick than Halo 1. I was able to beat it within like my one sitting of playing. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to come back a month later and finally beat it. Like I was able to do it in one sitting and it'd be okay. So yeah, that made me happy because as soon as I started the mission, I had like the fucking 1,000-yard stare. Like I had Vietnam flashbacks to trying to do the Warthog mission at the end of Halo 1. Like it was literally like PTSD. Like I had flashbacks and I was like, oh fuck, not this again. But it ended up being okay. So I do really appreciate that. Um, Now that I'm talking about that in comparison to Halo 1, what I do remember about this game is it feeling very similar to Halo 1. There's a lot of the sections where it feels almost like a parallel to the first game, where you're kind of going through these, Covenant areas. Like I believe it's in this game where like you find the cartographer again, and like you go through a different cartographer on a different Halo ring. I believe, if I remember correctly, if I'm not misremembering that. Um, but I remember sections of this game feeling very similar in vibe and in tone to how Halo 1 was, but like just improved in almost every way. Um, so I do like that because the vibe in Halo 1 is immaculate. Like this very like alien, like it makes you feel lonely, like this lonely alien kind of desolate vibe. Um, that's like very like ominous, and Halo 3 manages to nail that same tone, but like improve upon the gameplay, which I really do appreciate. So anyways, that being said, I am going to give. Oh, actually, before I finish up talking about Halo 3, let me talk about the very end. That was insane. So when the ship explodes or whatever, an arbiter manages to escape, but John and Cortana are left behind. That was just insane. And especially how they like go back to Earth or whatever, and they uh, show basically Master Chief's like tombstone or whatever. Like everybody on Earth believes him to be dead, but meanwhile he's just floating aimlessly in space. Uh, that shit was crazy, and sets up Halo 4, I think, perfectly, which I'll talk about in a future video. But yeah, and also obviously R.I.P. Johnson, R.I.P. Miranda Keys, especially Sergeant Johnson. Sergeant Johnson is fucking awesome. And everybody loves Sergeant Johnson, but like he's one of the best characters in the game. Um, yeah, he's hilarious and he's just a homie. So R.I.P. But yeah, overall, I'm gonna give Halo 3. What am I gonna give Halo 3? I'm gonna give it 8 flood spider thingies out of 10. Uh, 8 flood out of 10 is what I'm gonna give Halo 3. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. This is gonna wrap it up here. This is definitely the longest video I've done on this channel so far, so I hope you guys did enjoy. Definitely let me know what you guys think of the original Halo games and your experiences with them in the comments. I would love to hear it and have that discussion. And stay tuned because in the next video, or maybe not the next video, but the next in this series I'm doing, we're going to be talking about the Halo like kind of spin-offs, I guess. We're going to be talking about ODST and Halo Reach. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, thank you all for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I would appreciate it. And yeah. And anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.